What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Broman. Now, at the end of last week, we ran two concurrent stories, one talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s needs and wants to come back to the MCU, the other seemingly confirming that he had worked out a deal with Marvel Studios and that he was on his way to coming back for a live-action Ironheart series. But could it be he actually had an agreement to come back way before then? And as we've chronicled here at the channel, a slight spoiler by none other than the Grandmaster himself, Jeff Goldblum, might have been a dead giveaway, but now a new piece of evidence that Iron Man is in fact coming back for the What If series, at least to do a voiceover for Tony Stark one last time. We're going to show you guys the screenshot, break it down, line it up exactly with what Jeff Goldblum said about this series, and break down what it means for Robert Downey Jr.'s return. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, first things first, and in case you missed it, I'll make sure to link it down in the description below, but it's also easily sourceable at this point, an interview that Jeff Goldblum gave after completing some of his voiceover work for the Thor Ragnarok What If series upcoming on Disney+, saying that Robert Downey Jr. would in fact be part of that episode as well, doing the voiceover for Iron Man. Now, Disney immediately came out officially and through some of their other sources and said no, in fact that wasn't true, he wasn't coming back, but that's what they would do if they wanted that to be a surprise, and Jeff Goldblum had leaked it as a spoiler by accident, and this raised a ton of red flags for me. Let's think logically about this for just a second. Either Iron Man is in the episode or he's not, and if he's in the episode, there's no way Marvel Studios would ever let anybody else voice that character for an official Marvel Studios release, even if it's their ancillary animated What If series. Meaning, if Tony Stark or Iron Man are in that episode, then it's Robert Downey Jr. doing the voice and no one else, and lo and behold, we now have confirmation in a screenshot that he is indeed in that episode. When Disney Plus went live, they released a trailer called Expanding the Universe. We did an in-depth breakdown then, but apparently on one of the harder to see panels, as you can see here, Iron Man is truly returning for that episode, and you can sort of make out some differences with his armor, what looks like Sakaar war paint. It might be the case that he somehow ended up there instead of Thor, but regardless, you have to think about this. If Jeff Goldblum was doing voiceover work, he would certainly know what characters he was talking to. It would sort of be hard for him to have confused Iron Man or Tony Stark with anybody else. And even if you're going to conjecture, not just for devil's advocacy's sake, but based in fact that this show is all about character swaps, that we've seen that T'Challa is going to be Star-Lord, Peggy Carter's going to become Captain Britain, and even Steve Rogers in a makeshift old Iron Man costume, that is true, but not for this episode. Jeff Goldblum would surely know if someone like Robert Downey Jr. was going to be involved, and whether this was going to be Tony Stark and Iron Man in the costume or some other character. When he said that, he was being completely earnest, meaning most likely the case, the swap for the episode is instead of Thor, we're getting Iron Man. Now, if you let this play out to its logical conclusion, and if Iron Man's to go through some of the same narrative that Thor went through, that means he's going to be headed on a one-way collision with the Hulk, but that's something we've already seen play out before our eyes during Age of Ultron, and of course, in that fight, Tony Stark had the luxury of Veronica, the Hulkbuster, in order to calm him down. Quick side note, if you don't know why he calls that Veronica, it's from the Archie comics. Betty and Veronica was sort of like a love triangle, and in the comics, the Hulk always calms down via Betty Ross. Of course, Scarlett Johansson taking that role in the MCU, but since they don't have a Betty Ross, Stark is making a slight joke here, naming the Hulkbuster Veronica. Now, obviously, during Age of Ultron, he was on the Mark 45. If I don't get that right, you guys are definitely going to correct me in the comments, and wherever he'd be by the time he got to Thor Ragnarok, that would be advanced armor. Not sure if it would be nanotech or not at that point. It would be right before Infinity War, so there's a good chance we would be seeing the same armor that we saw in Infinity War, which is severely upgraded and perhaps could take on the Hulk if it was anything close to the same armor he used to battle Thanos. But what's going to be most interesting to me is if this What If series chooses to do that, pit Iron Man against Hulk in the Gladiator arena, considering we've already seen it in Age of Ultron, and these What If episodes are meant to be things we've never seen before, something that's completely different. We're going to have to wait and see, but what will be worth it is Jeff Goldblum interacting with Robert Downey Jr., something we didn't get during the Infinity Saga, and with the chemistry these two are sure to share will definitely be worth it for the fans whenever they cash this episode in. Speaking of which, we still have no idea if they're planning to go sequentially with all 23 episodes matching one episode to every every movie in the Infinity Saga, it would make a lot of sense for them to break this up at least across 2 seasons, and if that's the case, then we might have to wait till later in season 2 to finally get this episode, but that would be interesting to why they were already doing the voiceover, and maybe the case they're not going to go in order, and we'll get this with the release. Plus, you got to know Disney is really pushing Disney Plus at this point, and what greater way to announce and surprise fans and draw subscriptions if you announce that Robert Downey Jr. will be reprising his role for a voiceover in the animated series. And one final thought I'll leave you with is I've been thinking about this quite a bit as we go into this next phase of the MCU, minus a lot of the characters we've known to come and love, especially Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, is that Marvel Comics never really kills off characters. They're always coming back. And how are you going to do prequel movies without the involvement of these characters somehow? Look, they're already showing that in Black Widow. Even though they're using archive footage of Robert Downey Jr., they needed that scene to contextualize what was going on around Civil War. None of these characters, none of these narratives exist in a bubble, not going forward or back. How are you going to do a ton of Avengers analog movies, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, in a What If episode, if you don't have Robert Downey Jr. and Steve Rogers, Chris Evans reprising their roles and doing the voiceovers? You're going to need them. They were 2 of the main players during the Infinity Saga, and if ever you call back to that in a flashback that's on Earth has anything to do with the Avengers, and those characters are just somehow absent or missing, it's going to be awfully awkward and very hard for them to get anything done while suspending disbelief for us, the audience, missing 2 main key characters. And now you move forward here 6 months from where we were when we were discussing this all, and this is truly my final thought, when it was sensitive, when we had all just watched Robert Downey Jr. snap his fingers and sacrifice his life to save the universe as Tony Stark, him especially, all of us were feeling sensitive to it. He didn't want to come back. He didn't even want to come back to say that last line. And a lot of us still hold true to not wanting to see him back in the MCU. And it's for all of these reasons exactly that Disney didn't come out and say that he was reprising his role for voiceovers, him or Chris Evans, even though we already know we'll see Chris Evans in one of those first episodes alongside Peggy Carter, and why they haven't announced it yet, why they denied it when Jeff Goldblum said it, and they won't until they absolutely have to, because it will cheapen his death in just a little way. We're not losing Robert Downey Jr. if he's coming back for cartoons, but it has always been this way and has always had to be this way. It's not just the Avengers episodes. What about Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 in the animated series? Are you telling me they're not going to have Robert Downey Jr. or Iron Man in any of those cartoons? Of course they are. Then you go ahead and add on all of the Avengers films plus Captain America Civil War and anything else in the Infinity Saga that you needed Iron Man for, and there's a likely possibility he'll be reprising his voiceover role as Iron Man in all of those episodes. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below about all of this. I've seen the comments on the other videos from the end of last week. A lot of you don't want him back in the live action universe. Are you going to feel the same way if you see him in the What If animated series? I would like to think that I'm not going to, and especially considering it'll be almost a full 2 years from the end of Avengers Endgame when we finally see this. I think some of the newness and shine of his sacrifice will have worn off and he'll actually be welcomed back. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments about this below. I'm all ears, and quickly, let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 650,000 subscriber mark. We're headlong into that and could easily hit that by next month's end. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We gave the first one away on New Year's Eve. We'll be giving the second one away on the 2nd anniversary of the channel in the end of April. If you want to be entered to win either of the PlayStations, the limited edition Infinity Saga box set, or any of the other prizes we give away here at the channel, including tickets and DVDs to every MCU and MCU adjacent Sony film, as well as a ton of other stuff, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be selected and announced at the end of the videos, and if you've missed any of the past winners, especially here real recently, as we've given away something like 5 or 6 PlayStation 4 Pros in the last 60 to 90 days alone, no worries. All you have to do, scroll back through the channel, look for the winner announcement in the sub count in the title, click on that video, scroll to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.